A very, very warm good evening. This is Arunfoot Chaudhary. You are live on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. It is July the 18th, 2025. It's a Friday and a day on which the Court of Arbitration of Sports decides once more in favor of Kashi. It has hurt some people, from what I've been told, on that, because they didn't expect that this decision would come. And this shows me how far away a lot of people who operate within Indian football are from the realities of what happens in the world. And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about other things. Good evening, Gear on Rare. Good evening, Goku, and good evening also, Yuvraj. I am fine, and congratulations, Yuvraj, to you. No, you do not need to tell me how you are doing. I guess you and everybody who supports or has a liking for Kashi should be happy about what has come out. And once more, the reminder at the start of the video, maybe those of you who might not be watching it live now, but maybe watching it later, do like, share, and subscribe to Arunfoot here on YouTube. Watch the short videos. I did a short video this afternoon, actually, just after the judgment, the decision, the final decision came out. So do watch it. Did something yesterday on, the players are worried on other things. So do watch that as well. Welcome, Yuvraj. Hi, Kumar. So do watch my short videos. And again, let's slowly keep on growing the community, and we're 2,775 today. Thank you to all of you who follow the channel. And of course, as I said, let's keep on trying to grow the community. Let's get more people involved, and let's talk about things in a way that is, hopefully going to help Indian football. Because if we're going to talk the way that a lot of other people are talking and thinking, we're not going to make any headway. Your race is what a lovely day as an Indian, as a football fan. I feel good today. Yeah. Justice has been served, and that's the thing. Hi, Vinod. And sorry, you say clowns still defending AIFF and Churchill brothers. It is, again, sometimes I think, you should know when you've done something wrong and just say it, and what am I going to say? It is, there is nothing to defend, right? There is something which was wrong, which is wrong, and which will be wrong. And if you think that you can fool, and the system, that's not going to work. And I think this is the valid proof that one was needing. Hi, Mayank. You are right about what the CAS will do. Embarrassing for FF and the committees. Mayank, is why was I right? Simple question. I just looked at the thing, looked at the rules and regulations of the game, and then looked at it that CAS will only look at those. They will not be bothered about the sideshows, about this, about that, about other things. CAS only cares about the rules and regulations of football, of sports. Let me not say football, but rather sports. And how are the rules formulated in the competition? And let's see. Mr. Kalyan Chaubey had one job to do, corruption, perfectly failed in that too. God, this man. Yuvraj, you know what? I don't even think that we're talking about corruption, right? In this case, it's more about power, control, importance. So that's the biggest problem. Had a verbal war with some Minerva fans when I pointed out that the academy is just fooling everyone and playing against school teams. Angry Birds very well said. Why don't you run AFF like BCCI private body? The RG show, the AFF is a private body like the BCCI. Why is the AFF not a private body? It's a society. It's not run by anyone, right? So the only issue is that the fine AFF will pay due to the incompetence public money, not from their own salaries. Mayank, how is it public money? And this is another mistake that I think fans do. How is it public money? Is the money mainly coming from taxes? Is it your money? Is it my money? Is it someone else's money? No, it is either the money of Reliance Industries or it mainly FIFA and AFC grants. And from the government at the moment, the AFF is not getting anything. It's getting specific money for national teams. That's the only thing they're getting. So I don't know how it's public money. How it is your or my money, right? So that is also, I think, a misconception that is out there. The good thing about Indian football is that both men and women nationally gets recognition fairly, since both play almost same level. Very few sports, probably badminton has it. Where does this come from, Chetan? How are we comparing the men's and the women's game? The men's national team, or even forget the men's national team. Look at Suraj Chhetri raising an issue 2 days ago. How much it got covered in the national media, even on mainstream media. How much coverage did the women's team get for qualifying for the Asian Cup? The women's team is not getting, or the women's game does not get as much importance coverage, as the men's game. So I couldn't agree more. And when I proposed them that Minerva should try to participate in a competition like Dallas Cup so that they can achieve the motive of getting the guys exposed in front of a huge scouting system, got illogical and nonsense responses. Angry Birds, if you're expecting something, these people live in their own world. No? They don't want to believe what you're going to tell them. They think, think that they are on the right side of what is happening. By the way, Sean Hundal makes move to York City FC, top tier of Canada football. Yes, he moved from Valor FC to York FC in the Canadian Premier League. Well, now that I'm happy, CAS gave very big slap to AIFF. Some maniacs says CAS was bought by Intercash. They think CAS is some small petty court in the nook and corner of India. Kumar, as you say, be happy. If people don't want to understand what this means, let them be. They will never understand. Wow, super happy. My hometown, Varanasi, has been promoted to ISL and our I-League winners. Very, very happy. Hope Interkashi makes whole UP proud. Yes, Shanlata, I hope so as well. But, there's one problem with Interkashi playing ISL. We all know that at the moment, right? Our Indian women team defeating Uzbekistan, wow, a thing that we'll surely not expect from men in upcoming 20,000 years. Well done. Now, high chance to for Asian Cup. Let's go. Salute, girls. Shamlata, and this is what I would then say, slowly, piano. Joachim Alexanderson has done a good job, right? But again, this is only a friendly. The qualifiers are the matches which count. And this 4-1 victory, as good as it is, if you don't win in the qualifiers, this win has no value. So always remember friendly matches and qualifiers. People have been saying about Indian slogan with Satyameva Jayanti, the fact that justice never hides, but I think justice can only be achieved when it happens in uncorrupt halls, not appeals committee. Aditya, I agree with that. The problem is that in this case, you can't hide from anything, right? I mean, the important thing is with the caste system, it is the way it is, and you will not be able to manipulate them in any way which hurts the game, right? So therefore, from that perspective, very, very important what has happened. And I think a lot of people are still not understanding what has transpired out of this. How do you see the stories of a Jamie Vardy, Junior Messias, Mrs. playing Serie D and made into Champions League is a fairy tale story? Then great. What else to say? These kind of stories are what football wants, football needs. Has Churchill brothers returned the trophy? Which is a good question. I've not heard anything from anyone in the AIFF that they were saying that the trophy has been returned. So as far as I know, no. Indian women and men football get same recognizing they qualify for Asian Cup and still no one cares. Aditya, my talking. Yeah. Very, very sad. What's the current status of the future MRA deal? The quote proposal from AIFF was embarrassing and a bit funny, 50 crores or 10% of whatever is more. Are people in AIFF doing? Mayank, there is no current status. There is no deal. There's no conversation happening. This, whatever is being reported, this is another problem of Indian football. What you're reading in the last 2-3 days are things that happened in the last 9 months. 9 months. This is not, none of this which is being reported at the moment is current. This is at least 3 months ago. Very, very sad, but these are realities. People are selling you today stories which is old. So there is no conversation, nothing happening. And again, what did last Friday's Reliance statement say? You know, it just said, we're not having a conversation on this because we're putting everything on hold. So that is the status, right? This is another problem, guys. I've told you this again and again and again. Look at who's your sources, who are saying what, how, when, where. So AFF always a day without humiliation, not worth it, says Coco. I think Kashi should arrange a ceremony, call all the appeals committee members, call Churchill, Alamau and Co and make the team hand them the trophy over. I think that the role of that trophy handing over is not that of Inter Kashi, that's of the AFF, and I'm very interested to see what is it. No? Hey Shaggy, will there be any firings within AFF? What would be the government's take on such difficulties by AFF? Shaggy, the government has created this AFF. Let's be very, very clear, right? The government was involved in getting Kalyan Chaubey into this. You know, that's the first. And what firings within? What are you going to fire? The appeals? Are you going to get rid of the appeals committee? Are you going to get rid of the players status committee? What are you going to do? The AIFF at the moment is not in a position to renew or even negotiate the MRA, right? I mean, I would honestly ask the question if the AIFF is in a position to actually sign a national team coach at the moment, right? So we are in a situation where the AIFF doesn't know what it can do at the moment, right? I think all other clubs are targeting Inter Kashi. Aditya, I don't think all other clubs. There are certain clubs. It's not only, I said this, there was this Twitter space this afternoon of Inter Kashi fans. And I joined and I said, listen, they're not the only ones, right? Those same people have targeted the ISL, have targeted certain other clubs as well. There are clubs who have dissolved themselves because of this, right? Corporates who came in and went out again. So this is not the first time. This is not the last time, sir. The AFF only 2 jobs, says the RG show. Okay. What about the AFF verdict that was about to come today from Supreme Court? In reverse, there is no Supreme Court verdict. There is no date put to the hearing of the Supreme Court. So as long as that date is not set, there is no hearing on anything. The caste system is like having hearing, give judgment, and close the case, like Tariq, like appeals committee. Okay. The new proposals of AFF show that they only wish for money and the money-hungry people instead of people who wish to actually are passionate about football. You can tell me they're ex-footballers. Aditya, as I've just said, you are saying something as per what you've read, right? Let me put it this way. the problem is also, from a Reliance perspective, that you have given the AIFF money over the last 15 years, 50 crores without asking, right? That is one of the reasons why the AIFF budget has also risen over the last 15 years substantially, right? How much was it? Was it about 20, 25 crores maybe at the time? Now we're about 120. So you are getting money without questions being asked, right? Now, if you take away that 50 crores, and I've said this multiple times in the last 2 years, X number of times, and nobody wants to listen, right? Everyone thinks they understand things better. That's the problem. Another problem in Indian football. We're surrounded by idiots who don't understand the basics. If the 50 crores are gone, the AIFF cannot run its system, right? But the AIFF needs to be smart enough to make a counter proposal to Reliance in a way of saying, you know what? How do we do this? Right? You don't say, oh no, you know what, we've got a good system, just keep it going. Let's not question. And please, can you do 5% extra every year? Players, but I still think the same. Okay. It doesn't matter if it's players or not, right? System, says Hannibal. It's high time to put ban on search brothers. Again, the question is, who is going to ban whom and how, right? Do you ban them? Do you ban Namdari? Do you take action against Real Kashmir? Do you take action against Delhi FC? Do you take, a lot of cases in the AIFF which has gone to the appeals committee have gone down the drain today because of this judgment. So the question is here, how does this now factor into a decision making? So very interesting to see, what happens. But the AIFF, what does the AIFF do internally? But it was the AIFF committee who always stand against Inter-Kashi. First, they reduced reports. And then, Aditya, it's an AIFF committee which actually factually, supposedly the appeal committee is independent of the runnings and workings of the AIFF. So theoretically, the AIFF has no influence, right? So therefore, you can't say that the AIFF is against Inter-Kashi. It's that committee. So what if Churchill say they won't give trophy, which they will likely do? And the AIFF prerogative to get it back or create a new trophy, right? It's like in America, supposedly at the FIFA Club World Cup, Donald Trump kept one of the trophies and FIFA to organize a second one for Chelsea after the final. Seeing all this mess, becoming a sports lawyer would be a responsible financial decision for me. Hannibal, it would be, but the question is, as a sports lawyer, what decision would you be able to take? I went Inter-Kashi got justice. 100%. But why did Inter-Kashi get justice? Because Inter-Kashi was willing to go to CAS, spend crores, to get justice. Other clubs don't do that. Other clubs also don't have owners who are willing to take this step, understand this step, and also spend money on this step. In Anwar Ali case, when can any club go to CAS? What are rules? Shushanto, Mohun Bagan could have gone to the CAS last year itself. Mohun Bagan has missed, I don't know how many times the bus, and I don't think Mohun Bagan wants to go to CAS, right? So otherwise they would have gone. Mohun Bagan didn't do it, right? So that's the thing. What is up with AIFF new constitution case? Nothing, Hannibal. And wasn't going to come up on 23rd. It was supposed to come up on the 15th, I thought. Then someone told me 18th. You've heard 23rd. There is no date set by the Supreme Court. Someone has told me today that there won't be a decision before next month. So it's not on the priority list of the Supreme Court of India to decide on football. There should be an investigation on this since the whole appeals committee has been brought. Can't even have a good investigation. These people will investigate themselves and call it off. Yeah, let's see. As I said, Uchut, no date in regard to Supreme Court hearing of the case in regard to the AIFF. Right, more than 20 minutes. Quick reminder, if you're liking the conversation, do leave a like behind. 8 likes only so far. I think we can do better. Share it with other people as well. And of course, subscribe to the channel. 2,776 at the moment. And as I say, watch the short videos. I did something on the Inter-Kashi thing today, did something yesterday on Sunil. Yeah, that's it. Keep watching. And also, yeah, we're today the 970th video in my series of Candid Football Conversations. Another, why do not you add hype feature for your YouTube channel? What do you mean hype, Kumar? Could you please explain that? If ISL disbands, do you think more Indian men's players will sign for clubs outside India? The women have no ISL, so they go outside India and improve their game. Rohit, who will sign the Indian players? I've got calls from ex-players at the moment who are without knowing. And yeah, so therefore, some or the other might go here or there, but I find it very difficult. And the women went outside India because the players wanted to go, right? And it's not because of if there was a league, obviously there wasn't a league. What will happen with Delhi FC relegation case? Honorable, a very interesting scenario, because the question is if the appeals committee actually is overstepped. Sorry, and it's a question of there were other cases linked to the whole Inter-Kashi case. The question is what is going to be the new league table? That's going to be an interesting one, because theoretically, if I understand it right, there are some cases which are there, which would most probably give other teams also a certain number of points, and so therefore that's a question that the AIFF would have to answer, right? I'm just looking at the points table, because at the moment the points table is like, okay, at the top it's sorted: Inter-Kashi 42, Churchill Brothers 40, Real Kashmir 37, Gokulam Kera 37. Yeah, Namdhari is 29, but they're mentioned in that. My mistake. Also in the video, I said they're fourth, but they were mentioned as the fourth team on 29 points. But theoretically, Sporting Club get 3 points from Rajasthan United, and if that happens, they jump to 24, and then Aizawl moves to 23. Then theoretically, Aizawl and Delhi FC would be relegated. So there's a lot of fun that awaits us with the final I-League table. If everything is on hold, the question would be to some clubs who are very active in signing players and deals like 1.2 for Jay Gupta. Man, 100%. I think a lot of look at the clubs who are very proactive at this moment, right? Goa's playing in the AFC Champions League 2, right? That's one. The other clubs, for different reasons, are playing in the Durand Cup, right? So let's be clear, the army is putting a certain level of pressure on the Kolkata clubs, on Jamshedpur FC or Northeast United to play, because they are linked also to the government. The government's also doing it. So that's why they're doing this. But the money that clubs have spent, again, East Bengal, Mohun Bagan at the forefront at this moment for players, does not justify anything, because you don't know what's going to happen. Steve Constant has applied for national team coach role. Hannibal supposedly has. I've not heard anything, but again, there's a lot of, so let's see. Manolo continues with FC Goa for a year. Can he bring... Sorry there. Manolo continues with FC Goa for a year. Can FC Goa do well with the squad he has in AFC? Difficult, because the question is, also with the players, can you focus really on football with all that is going on without knowing if you have a future? So that's the point. Indian players are not going to get out if ISL shuts down. They're just going to go to lower leagues. So leave this dilemma if these people are going to go outside. Yeah. What the question is the lower league going to be? Hi, Karam. Ashish Neki mentioned Punjab FC is rebranding. What kind of rebranding? Is it any idea? Karam, I've heard something, but it is not in the public domain. So let Punjab FC, let Roundgrass Punjab come out with what they're doing. How was defensive structure and Stephen Constance in your team? Brilliant. That's his strong point. Sir, can't AFC have a say in the MRA? Can't they take some action that these clowns can act better? No. Moment, it's our internal matter. It's no matter for AFC or FIFA to intervene in our national matter of such an MRA, right? what they can do, and that was also on my recommendation and my involvement, was to create the roadmap, right? So that was that. Hi, Blue, Inter Kashi FC winners of I-League deserving. 100% Blue, welcome back. Much needed, I think, for them, for us, for Indian football, and yeah, that's very, very important. Ona, what's your thought on Anwar Ali case? If the matter goes to CAS, which party will be hampered most? Is it Delhi FC or Mumbai or East Bengal for Anwar himself? Biswajit, look at older videos of mine which I've done. Look at even the first video I've done on this topic, short video on this in my timeline. What would have been the original judgment? So what happened? The player was Mohun Bagan's. He was on loan from Delhi FC. We can discuss the 4-year loan, but that's a different question. East Bengal approached the player, even though he was contracted to someone. That approach was facilitated by Delhi FC. He broke the contract to go back to Delhi FC and then sign a permanent contract at East Bengal. What does it mean? East Bengal and Delhi FC get at least 2 window bans for illegal approaches. Anwar Ali gets banned for a certain period of time, and all of them have to pay a certain level of fines. That would be the normal way if it went to CAS. But Mohun Bagan has not gone to CAS. Mohun Bagan could have gone to CAS. They didn't, right? Well, Reliance not supposed to handle AIFF stupidity. Imagine even now getting a penny from Reliance, they're asking for more. Even increment every 5 years. Let the football collapse. Need a revamp, says Aditya. Was seeing Minerva Academy boys today, they aren't just like you 70 AIFF youth. There's nothing special. Okay. Becoming a sports lawyer under divorce line is like jumping on a fountain of cash. Okay. How much extra money Inter Kashi lost for this stupid fiasco? It'll go into crores. Those European lawyers are not cheap. That hearing would have not been cheap. We're talking about crores. How much? I don't know, but we're talking about substantial money. In all this, Greg May, I hope the women national team doesn't suffer. Yeah, that's this is a collateral which can happen, right? Such a hard slap on Churchill Brothers owner and daughter face, who was running their own agenda within AIFF for manipulating others clubs. It was not only them but other people as well. So it was a concerted effort. AIFF people are living arrogantly in their own dreamland that everyone will agree to whatever they say. Yeah, Shumit, yeah, that can be said. Update on Desi Bowler event you went to. How many OCI players you met? Share details, bro. I met a couple of players who could be OCI players. So let's put it this way. It was a general event, and yeah, a lot of people who are involved in grassroots and youth football, and yeah, we will see what happens with those. Players are interested to play, but the question is, when will we integrate them into our system, right? That's the big question. East Bengal looks deadly this time, but can Oscar Bozon manage to pick the right 11 for Durant? Not sure. Let them settle down, and then we can talk how good East Bengal could be. Arun, the hype is a new feature on YouTube. The more hype a video gets, the more mainstream it becomes, something like that. I have not seen. Let me check. Is there a hype function anywhere? Let me just check. No, I don't see anything. Sorry, but I'll check it out. Why is Etik and Mohun not going to CAS or is there an outside settlement? Shumadri, first of all, is Mohun Bagan super giant? And secondly, where would be an outside settlement be? Have you heard anything of an outside settlement? The case is still with the AIFF. Who will sign Indian players? Indian players can't play in the 5th or 6th division. No, of course not. That's amateur. An amateur, a semi-pro, maybe in England, but it's 5th, 6th tiers amateur, and you will not get a visa or a work permit. So you'll have to, if you move to Europe, you'll have to move as a pro. Actually, if I'm not wrong, there's no real statement by Mohun Bagan about the Anwar case till date. Even in the earlier period, there was nothing but reels. So maybe they never took it seriously. Could be, right? I said to Madhi, there is no something. Why is not going to cash on my case, or is there something wrong on the loan contract which can result in penalty to as well, or is there settlement? There is nothing, Madhi. As far as I know, there is nothing. I believe it's 50 years to women's national team football team. Can you please confirm if the first national team was formed in 1975, needed to run a small campaign of awareness? Informally, if I'm right, they played the first matches in 1975. Yeah, that's as far as I know, Shaggy. But there was always the question if there were any matches played before 75. So if informally, we can say yes, most probably this is the 50th anniversary of the first ever Indian women's national team playing. I think exposure of 1 or 2 years outside India, like Amarjeet Singh Kiam, would go a long way. How Sunil Chetri improved after going abroad. Well, it would. Is Andre Lakshman Osai striker willing to play for India? I've called any for M. I've not heard anything on him saying anything. AIFF sent me notice for calling them most corrupted sports body in India. Okay, interesting. Get on there. Bro, the things age category teams of India is really good. 15, 17, 18 standard the same, but when these players become these struggles, so they couldn't stand against teams in Asia. Okay. Why do you think Kerala Blasters keeping underperforming even Northeast with lesser budget as a trophy and better rank in leagues? The Blasters have reached ISL finals, didn't win it. And you have to sometimes it's sheer luck that you're winning or losing matches, right? So therefore, the Blasters have been close. I always felt that, unlike, for example, Northeast, who took last year the Durand Cup seriously, that to me that Durand Cup and Super Cup is something that the Blasters are not taking seriously. It's my personal feeling. Where I would have said, you know what, if you took it more seriously, maybe the Blasters could have won at least the Super Cup or the Fed Cup in the past, or the Durand Cup. So that's it. SAF Super Cup, what's your opinion? I have no opinion on it because I want to see what kind of a tournament it will be. Not sure at the moment what they're planning, but it looks like India will not be, or Indian football will not be part of it. Players are vocal these days about Indian football situation. If they've done it earlier, it would have been great for us. Late call, but let's hope it will create a positive impact. Again, there, why are they doing it? And let's call them out. Why are the players doing it now? Because the players themselves, because it hits them now, right? It's about them. So therefore, that's the reality of things now, right? So would be interesting to see. Kashi, we are back. Said not a football expert. Solution: if FSDL doesn't approve to give funds to AIFF with this inefficient admin, they can't even find another replacement of FSDL. Supreme Court delaying. Are they even serious about football calendar? SB Sports Extremes. I think the Supreme Court is doing things the way they do, right? That's the way they operate. And so far, it seems nobody has told them that, at least for football or for sports, you need to prioritize things, move things in the right direction. Otherwise, the system can't work. Why I said earlier on that, in my opinion, the biggest problem was and is that the AIFF did not start the conversations with Reliance 2 years ago, right? I would have, July 2023 was the perfect time. Listen, you just won the SAF championship, 3 back-to-back trophies. Yeah. What division would be considered pro in EU? Rohit, it depends country to country, right? In England, you've got 4 divisions which are pro. In Germany, you say 3. In Spain, you say also 3. And others, it's 2. Sometimes it's even 1. So it depends on size, country, system. Thinking about bringing Ashish Negi, Harry, for a roundtable discussion on you, for we can have more healthy discussion. Let's hope you guys can come together to put more big fight. Yeah, Genre, that's a nice idea. Do you know what Kashmir said in CAS? No, I don't. Why stakeholders of Indian football don't want to understand situation? We emulated whole Indian football today. Still, we just want to keep our eyes closed. That's the thing, because certain people run and operate in a certain way, and they don't want to change. That's welcome to Indian football, right? And yeah, that's the challenge. Do you think Prophet can come back if there's a new election panel? Theoretically, yes, why not? But I'm not sure if he's interested. That's the question. When will Supreme Court give the final decision? Vishnu, no idea, right? People originally said 15th, and some people said 18th. Someone said today on this live 23rd. Someone told me today that this might not happen before August, so we'll have to wait and see when the date comes out. Is there any possibility to merge I-League to ISL by rare case? No. Ajmal, why would you like to merge the I-League into the ISL? Well, that would be my first question. Why? What's the value add? What's the value gain? More teams? I've clearly said, and I stick to that point, that to me, I think the ISL should go back to a 10-team league. Keep it closed for 5 years, work on the league, create the structure, and then open it up. At the moment, I don't think that growing it to 13, 14, 15, 16 teams is helping Indian football, because we don't have the players pool, right? That's why the clubs are fighting over the few players who are on the market. Players who are not even worth 500 euros in Europe are earning in crores, right? Not only is it question of regular contracts, I think the players have realized whenever ISL happens, there will be a heavy salary. Cut. Uchut, the problem is that I think the system, right? I today shared a video of mine, which is 3 months old, where I had asked the question, after the ISL final, will the next ISL happen? Right? So a lot of people across the board didn't take it seriously. And Sunil's message is nice, it's heartfelt, it's in that way, it's honest as well. But the reality is also with that message is that the situation has been such for a while. But you guys were getting your salaries, the system was working, and you didn't have to bother. So therefore, for me, this is I understand the situation from a player's perspective, because this is your livelihood. But as long as the system was running, you were not bothered. But this is not just a player's problem. This is also the management problem. People working there. So a lot of calls from people I know and saying, "Oh, Dada, this is that." I said, "Yeah, this has been clear for me for 2 years." Some of the people even said that. "Haan, aap to bole the." So, "Aap to bole the" doesn't help, no? AIFF simply don't care about clubs and league. They just want money. Clubs spend crores, still have zero in name of profits. Still, AIFF want to work like a greedy organization. Again, that is also not true in my opinion, because just to put the blame on the AIFF would be wrong. The clubs are spending crores, no doubt about it. But the clubs are wasting a lot of money themselves, and to me, that should be the point that should be asked to the clubs. Do I need to spend 50, 60, 70, 100 crores on such teams? With limited amount going to my grassroots and youth development program, I could restructure my club and spend money on that, right? 20, 30% of that money could go into the overall structure of the club. Do I have plans to build a stadium? So therefore, it is AIFF to blame only. Too easy for me, very, very easy, but the whole system needs to be called out. And that's, I think, the biggest challenge that we have at this moment in time, that nobody's willing to call out the whole system. I lost all respect for senior players like Chetri. They don't give about Indian football. Keep quiet all the time now. When it starts to hurt them, they're posting even that post of Chetri's. It's zero names. Yeah, you might say that, but I agree also that it's not only the players. It's, as I say, it's the whole ecosystem which has been quiet. And they're fine. They say, people have told me in June, late June, someone told me, nah, it will run. Reliance can't afford to stop the league. That's the problem. ISL deserves to be a top league for Indian football, max 14 teams with relegation promotion. Again, rare. I don't think that's the format which I would like. I tell you, I would say, looking at the current scenario, looking at how things are structured, I would call for a closed league, 10 teams ISL, 12 team I-League. I-League has promotion relegation. Let it strengthen at least for 3 years, if not for 5 years, and then open up the league. Yeah, that's what I would do. And now my question is in knowledge about German football and Bundesliga, who mid-table and bottom team and also those teams do not get success mid-winning cup or winning cup for some years, or some clubs will not get that much success. How these clubs and their fans have connect for Dankish years? How is the football culture built even there is no success from their clubs? Because Kumar, the club culture is not built on success. Get this right. You know? And to me, very simple. Supporting a football team, a national team, you can't choose because you're born to be a citizen of a country. But to support a club, you need to be, you support the club in success and especially in failure. This is what I've said about Indian club culture, right? Indian football club culture is you want to support your team when it's successful. So for me, this is the biggest challenge about club culture. And look at the celebrations. I mean, I was in London the day after Newcastle won. I've got friends who are fans of Crystal Palace who won their first ever trophy in 130 years, right? The Blasters are 11 years. Yes, they've not won anything, but they're 11 years, right? So therefore, if you build only on success, let's see. Now, your take on Diamond Harbour FC, are they doing good progression, short time, good signing? Bishwajit, they did the first good signing by signing Kibu Vikuni. Very good coach, successful coach, at least in an I-League level. Of course, spend a lot of money on players. That's also a fact. It's not just, are they doing good progression? Yes, because they've been willing to spend. And will they go up further? It looks like it at the moment, if you ask me. After the PSG Chelsea score ideas, how true was your line? It is football, anything can happen. The favourites of Club World Cup lost to Chelsea. Kopama, wow, 3-0 dominance, nice. Shanlata, that's what I said, no? That's football. Football, if you could predict football, yeah. The T20 league franchise model adopted by football in India and all the time come with franchise league at state level is harming youth football, in my opinion. They even don't have proper state league. I don't agree on that because the model that was adopted by the ISL was, yes, of course, it was IPL, but it was also looking at certain aspects from the Premier League, but especially from the American Pro Leagues. So if I want, and we have to be honest, if we look at 2014, right? 2014 was already 18 years into the NFL/I-League. And today we are 29 years down with the I-League and /NFL. How successful has it actually been? Right? We have to ask us that question, right? So therefore, this club football growth that you wanted and needed, we didn't have. Yeah. And so therefore, that's it. I guess if Ranjit and his boys are doing good in Gothia, Helsinki, Dana, Norway Cup, they should take a bigger challenge and possibly make it Spain, where you meet La Masia, Real Madrid, etc. Piyush, good idea, but are they really willing to take that step? Because then they're not winning that heavily, they will lose. Because that's a level where we cannot compete. Let's be very, very clear. Hey, Dark Knight, welcome back. Said, you think in monsoon session, can we expect the news about OCI PAO players? Mama, I don't think it'll happen that fast. What does the sports bill say per se? The sports bill per se says that we will interact with the diaspora? And this was a question which was asked to me over the last couple of days in London, like, hey, is it going to happen fast? I said, it says the term interact with the diaspora. So therefore, we'll have to wait and see. I don't think it'll happen that fast. I wish it happens. Let's see. Can FSDL control both I-League and ISL? No, I don't. FSDL don't want to control I-League. They just want to, Why ISL failed? Overspending is one reason, but is it all budget should have been as per potential revenue? I guess FSDL overestimated revenue of IS. India qualifies well. I guess ISL revenue will extend. It is not so easy. Overspending is not a fault of the league, I would say, because the league originally had a salary cap, which you could work around, and FSA didn't overestimate revenue because the one part of the revenue which was looked at, which never came, is television. I think that's the biggest failure in regard to FSDL, that they haven't been able to generate money via revenues via television, and that's hurting Indian football very, very much. There was a team or scouting done by Bundesliga Bayern team. I'm not sure, a few years ago, a player, I think, from Russia was selected to train in Germany. I don't know what happened to that. Was it PR? I don't even know what you're talking about, so I can't answer it. Sorry. Abik and the nickel guy ruined Carabasters. Even the fan advisory board they made is nonsense. They say something, they do something else. Even asked about women's team, they don't have a clear answer. And some fan asked when Abik showing Carabasters FC roadmap, they said participate in ASL2, and a fan even asked, do you have license for playing in ASL in the stadium where you can smell chicken curry make in northern part of Stadium Corner restaurant there you want to play ASL2, and most of fans tennis team, they even considering boycott matches. The Blasters are in a tricky situation because I've always said, and I still believe, the Kerala Blasters are actually a success story of the ISL in regard to fan engagement. The question now is, what do the Blasters do to enhance that, right? So that's the challenge, and Abik tried to be honest, direct with the people, fan forum, a fan advisory board, nice idea. But I will tell you, as a fan, you might have ideas and a thought process. But someone who's running a club has to run according to the money that the owners give you. So that's the question that Abik and Nikhil have never answered, in my opinion, is that you're working within a budget, right? Your owners are not saying, I'm going to spend like Mr. Goenka. Clear cut. So therefore, that's a reality. And I think, I don't know, would the Blasters fans accept if you tell them, listen, I've got a certain budget, I'm running according to a budget and I can't spend more? Maybe, maybe not. The question I asked, because as a club fans say, I will only support my club when they get success, not in the failure. Kumar, I've said this multiple times now. Even Indian football fans have been saying, oh, I will not support India because we lost. Fan culture is not that. Don't call yourself fan. Sorry. You support your team, your nation even more when they're losing. Ask questions, ask critical questions, but don't stop supporting your teams. Anyone who's saying that is actually not, in my opinion, not a football fan. Boycott is never an answer. Make your voice heard, right? So that's the thing. Do you think most of people are so disillusioned? Some of the takes on certain people feels like they don't even know footy, including me. Renal, yeah. If you want me to give you an honest answer, yes. Being a football fan and understanding how football runs and operates are two different things. That is something which people need to understand. Football is not easy. There are people who are rich owners, management guys, who've come into football and failed. Why? Because football is not a normal business. This is what needs to be understood. Hey, the Vapes, congrats on Kashi qualifying. If and when ISL happens, will they play in up? If they fulfill the criteria, yes. And the question is, if the ISL is going to happen, that's the big question. Yes, I get it. That level would be too difficult, but seeing these boys and their fitness at UFA, I guess they can give a competition. But yes, there will be no walkovers like 11-0, 9-0. Piyush, they're playing against grassroots kids. If they play Barca, Real Madrid, they'll be ripping them 10, 11-0 apart. You know. So AIFF want to bring Indian coach. They're not focusing on bringing right pragmatic coach. Dark Knight, what is this AIFF currently doing right? Simple question. I still can't generate much revenue because our football don't have that much quality. So see who want to see us when we don't have quality. Even half of Indian fans, football fans get disappointed with quality. Yeah, given rare. But the point is, if you're a football fan, if you're a genuine football fan, you should be following it. No? That's my only point. The point is very, very simple. If we don't follow, don't support, who will do it? No one will do it for you. That's the question. That's the challenge that we have. Right, more than 51 minutes already. Quick reminder, if you haven't, like, share, and subscribe. And 18 likes so far. Thank you very much. And we're at 2,776. So slowly edging to 2,800, 3,000 mark. And I said, do watch the short videos. I did something on Kashi today. Yesterday, something about the players are worried. So do follow and support. And thanks as always for that. Your views on this MOU of Madhya Pradesh government La Liga? I feel it's like big talks because I stayed in Gwalior for 8 years and I know how people in MP actually are. Piyush, I've read it like you. I don't have an opinion. I've seen a lot of these things crop up. I've even been part of certain things that signed by the European League or European club with a state or a city. The Indian side doesn't do. The only professional clubs in ISL is Punjab, FC and Bangalore. See if we had more clubs like them from 2014, we could have a good range of players now. Vishnu, don't agree with you on that. Knowing the clubs, I think there is no club in that way which you will call professional and good generation of players now. How? If you did the right grassroots work, you normally need 15 to 20 years to get players. 15 to 20 years. And in Indian system, I think it would have been 25 to 30 years. So do you think in 11 years you would have improved much? We have to look at that reality. I heard AIFF is going to make a contract that ISL will keep happening for 10 more years. Is it true? We're going to have ISL in 2026. Uday, there is no contract conversation at all. So there's nothing. Don't know where you heard this. So there, again, I've said this earlier today to certain people, and that's why I say it again now. Be careful who are and what are your sources. Yeah. Which is the most self-sustainable club in India, ISL League? There is none. There is none in that system at the moment. So what will happen to AFC MA ranking if league is not happening? We'll be suspended and we'll get no points for the year, no? Okay, an interesting question. Please answer this. If you suddenly get $1 billion budget per year and you are in position of equal as the AIFF, how will you use it for football development? Piyush, these theoretical questions will not come to me, right? If I had $1 billion, it sounds very easy to spend the money. The first thing is to ensure how long, right? Can you utilize this money? So one would have to look at the structure. So, but how will I spend it? You can't do that, sitting here and out of the blue, I say, oh, I'll do a spend on this, I'll spend on. No, you have to analyze the situation first. What do I have? What do I need? And then spend it wisely, right? Now Punjab is changing colors, logo, and branding. Why have you said in their color? Because Ashish has heard something and there is some conversation in the background, and we'll have to wait and see what they do. Another, why Supreme Court not giving judgment? Are they intentionally delaying for monsoon session to start, or they have less knowledge on football rules, regulations of FIFA? Which I don't know. Very valid question of yours, but I don't know why they're delaying it. To me, if I look at it, is that them even hearing the case the way they're hearing it is a problem. But will that be recognized? I don't know. Hey Abhijit, I hope all the guys who supplied in Churchill Brothers celebration got their payments cleared. Oops, that's a hard one. How do you see the tweet made by Shaji? He writes things just like he wasn't part of the mess and Bajaj come back to his cave. Well, let them say what they're saying. They hopefully at some stage will recognize what they've done and what they've done right and what they've done wrong. That's my only thing to say to them. They should know that. Do they understand it? I don't know. I hate this logic of Indian football and quality. My friend supports Man City and always says to him, Man City don't even know you exist. Most Indians who watch Euro footy do only for show off. Yeah, could be. Could be. Can you see the rising of semi-final men are physically struggling? That's the case if they participate in 19 or 17 when there's a point to say something. Muku, I don't watch that level of football, sorry. Today, Mr. Bajaj's soul left his body, everyone cursing him, even AIFF refs says. What is the deal between SLK and a broadcast? I forgot the name. Sports.com. Honestly, I don't know where that came from about and the money's involved. Let's hope it works out. Again, there are franchisees in trouble and they're saying this and everything. Again, this is Indian football, so I honestly don't know what's happening on that front. If ISL not happening this, is there any problem for FC Goa and Mohun Bagan playing in AFC? Vishnu, if the league is not happening, I don't know if the clubs will really be playing. If there is no decision in the next, yeah. So therefore, no idea. Now, what's your view on FSDL proposal for no relegation in the ISL? The new ownership structure sounds great, but no relegation or promotion is too far-fetched, in my opinion. The Waves, I would even go further. I would actually want, at this moment in time, looking at the scenario of our players and other things, 10-team league, closed league, for 3, maybe for 5 years. And then we can talk about promotion and relegation. Promotion first, relegation after that. Because our structure is not, so that's the thing. Yeah. Who is briefing Supreme Court about this situation? Jyotirmoy, no one. No one is briefing it. Marcus Magolo wrote an article here, though I may not have understood it clear, but the news was did something like that. Uday, that's old news. Those infos that he posted now are 6 months old. Those discussions have come and gone. You don't know anything. Thanks, Deepak, for the compliment. I know that I feel very cringy goofy when Indian football fans say we, us, when they're talking about European clubs. Yeah, but they do, right, Akash? What do you think of Ranjit? His actions have probably costed AIFF lakhs now, and that all puts Anwar case in jeopardy. The Waves, the less I say, the better about the gentleman. Even though Inter Kashi declared as I-League champions, Mimar Chhatrapati was already celebrated with the trophy, all thanks to AIFF. Newton Chacha, what to say? What to say about that? It is the way it is. It is embarrassing, in my opinion. Yeah, and the AIFF follow the path. If anyone sensible was involved in this, they would have stopped. And yeah, it's just embarrassing to say it. But a closed league means the I-League clubs backing out again. What's left for them to compete will be their argument. The Waves, I don't care about the arguments of the I-League clubs. I am thinking of from a perspective of a top tier league. Has the expansion of the Indian Super League really brought any quality? And if I look at some of the teams are trying to get into the ISL. If I look at just the criteria, right? Punjab FC, I was involved in setting up Round Glass Punjab at the time, so I know the owner has the money, the will, the desire to do things. Modern Sporting, not ready to play ISL, right? they won the I-League, yes, but they were not ready to play ISL, and they're in the mess now they are now because of that. East Bengal, even when East Bengal came to the ISL, East Bengal were not ready to play ISL. Let's be very clear about that, right? East Bengal have tried to settle into the ISL by spending money. I mean, the magnitude of a club of East Bengal has not been able to get into the ISL playoffs, right? Also reality. So therefore, in my opinion, if I want to do something good, do a 10-team league, 6 of them get into the ISL playoffs, have fun. Yeah. Actually, a club in the Helsinki Cup asked the committee to check whenever a player don't know. If it's true, they lost the final 2. Okay. Yeah, I've seen a tweet on that. Yeah. Why Supreme Court is deliberately delaying its decisions cost us most? Jyotirmoy, again, a question for the Supreme Court to answer. Are they delaying it, or is it just that they've got other cases to look at? That is a question for the Supreme Court. No, it is recently, probably one day ago, we posted, even some YouTubers are making videos. Uday, that is what I'm saying. This has been released now, but the news that is being reported is 6 months old. Even longer, November last year, more than 6 months, 9 months old. These discussions were held between November and March. This is news being sold today, is old news. Manasa, who should be the coach of Indian national team? Janjolian, if you ask me if they've applied, I've heard now Havas has applied. Stephen supposedly has applied as well, Stephen Constantine. So those are the kind of coaches that I would like to see in an AIFF setup, right? Those would be the ones that I would like. So therefore, yeah, because Stephen knows the system, Stephen knows the problems, and Havas is someone who's coached in I-League and ISL, so he knows the standards. And he also has coached a national team in Bolivia, of course, in the 90s, but he understands that. My choice of senior team coach would be Jamil or Constantine. We need 3 win by long ball or bus or boat. Even Ashley seems okay, but all the rest big names should be avoided. Your choice. Khalid, sorry, Neoga. I don't think also Ashley is going to come. He's with Hong Kong. See, as I said, Stephen or I think Havas. Why there's no conflict of interest? Exco member Valanka and Churchill Brothers. Deepak simply said, they're in football or in sports, you could be having multiple positions. I always say that the former president of Borussia Dortmund was the president of Borussia Dortmund. He was the chairman of the Bundesliga of the DFL, and he was the vice president of the German Football Association, DFB. So that's normal. But if you are in those positions, you need to know when you are Borussia Dortmund, when you are Bundesliga, when you are DFB. And this is something which in an Indian context, these people don't seem to understand. That's why we have got different people in different positions mainly, right? Why is the AIFF so incompetent? Is it the worst FA in the world? PC Gamer Tag, why? That's a good question. I think it depends on the people who are involved in running it. And is it the worst FA? I don't think so. They will be much worse. When Kashi got their verdict, ISL got suspended. Will you be surprised when they play their first match, new variant of COVID get discovered and they realize there's an active volcano underneath? Abhijit, isn't that life? Yeah. That things happen which affect things. So we'll have to wait and see. I-League should be merged with ISL and rebranded them as ISL2. Jyotirmoy, not going to happen. If Reliance stays, then Reliance will only manage ISL at the moment. They're not interested. They've never been interested in the. We'll look at the I-League and its clubs. Do you want to manage that? I-League winner and ISL last position team should have a playoff, and only if I-League team wins, they should be allowed into ISL. I don't. As I said, the difference between I-League and ISL is too big. For example, would Churchill Brothers be able to be in a position to financially withstand and play in the ISL? Simple question. I don't think that's something which we've discussed, right? So, so therefore that's the thing. Oh, okay, I got it. I just saw some hope therefore was accepted. Uday, old stuff being sold as current news. Again, sorry. Hi, Roshan. Do you think AIFF is a CAS decision with the financial impact, or they might have to cut expenses somewhere because of this? Roshan, so far, I've not heard anything, but the cases are hurting the AIFF. Yeah, you know. So let's wait and see. How do you Habas as national coach? I see a possible physical altercation between him and players or AF official, or his health gets further deteriorated. Is it worse for him to lose over a draw with Bhutan or Nepal? Abhijit, I don't think he has a health problem. Again, that's one thing. Secondly, I think we need a coach outside who is going to give that fighting spirit across to the team. As good as a coach Manolo is calm and controlled, I feel. Much at some stage I never took seriously anymore. And so therefore Habas as a character, also in the dressing room, he's gonna blast those guys. They won't like it, you know. Idea merging I-League with ISL is total nonsense. Both tiers are at totally different levels, quality-wise, finance-wise, competition-wise, etc. Newton Chacha perfectly summed up. Yes, that is the base problem of I-League and ISL. ISL is here. I-League is, I don't even know where they are. So that's something that we need to remember when we talk about these two leagues. No? So therefore, the comparison to me doesn't work. Some YouTubers are saying, and anything, Indian coach will come, etc. Though I don't take them seriously if that happens for poor finance, and I guess that day will be growing. Blue, as you now understand, a lot of people are saying a lot of things. Certain people are being fed information, right? That this coach is coming, that guy is coming, this is going to happen, that is going to happen. So a lot of information floating around at the moment in Indian football. I like to stick to the facts that yes, the job is open, that supposedly Khalid, Sanjay Sen, Stephen Constantine, Habas, certain others have applied, certain ex-ISL coaches also, certain big foreign ex-national team coaches as well. So therefore, let's wait and see what happens. I'm interested to see this, and again, yeah. Thank you. I think we need Stephen. We need fresh election vision leader. We don't need Shaji and Ranjit. Yeah, I agree, Deepak. Enough, sir. What about our PIOCA players? General, nothing. I mean, I was in London the last couple of days. I spoke with certain and the players are wanting to play for us. I heard that there are 100 plus applications for India men's national team head coach. Hope there are many competent ones who can steer through complex scenarios. Uchud, yes, it's supposedly in the region of 170 plus, maybe. Yeah. So that's the number that I've been told. So let's wait and see. Tradawala, hi, welcome. If Reliance took over the I-League, it would be better, but the I-League club owners think they know everything, which is evident this year. Many more which I don't know. Many more things that I don't want to say. Tradawala, very simple. I go back. In 2012, when Reliance looked at how do we run the system, they thought of rebranding the I-League and making the I-League into the ISL. And then when dealing with, especially the Kolkata Goan clubs, they backed out and then they started to plan for the ISL. So this is something that a lot of people don't know because they've not been around for that long, that actually the I-League clubs had an opportunity to be ISL clubs, but they never wanted that to be. Close to 3,000 voice subscribers are increasing now rapidly, gone past some controversial statement for clickbait or hate watch, like Rasgulla sucks. Abhijit, yeah, maybe that's how other people do it. I have always said in my days, be it on my days at indianfootball.com, be it in my days of arunfoot, I will, do what I do and, yeah, the right way, right? So therefore, yeah, we're here where we are. But while you're saying that, once more, the reminder, if you're liking, please like this video. 24 likes so far. I think we can do better. Share with other people to join into our conversations, and subscribe to arunfoot here on YouTube. We're at 2,777 at the moment. Thank you for that. And yeah, watch the short videos, keep supporting. And what I also say is, look at some of the older stuff. There's a lot of stuff, again, 970 videos. If you have time, browse through the library, look at especially the shorter videos. There's a lot of things that I've said, not yesterday, not quite in the past. And therefore, let's see why the football fans are fighting amongst them about who the coach should be instead of focusing on core problems. Will AIFF be able to afford coaches like Stephen Howard, etc.? No. Chacha, again, yeah, that's football for you. Which state or city brings most revenue for Indian football? Can a Kolhapur-based club be more profitable than a team like Northeast or Delhi or Pune, etc.? There is no club, no city which brings you profit. It depends on your owners who are willing to spend. Which city? I mean, forget football from an Indian sporting sense. Doesn't happen, right? Because television revenue is your important thing. So what do you make of Kashi playing in ISL? Will they finally move to Varanasi? It's good that they would be playing ISL. That's good for Indian football. Varanasi supposedly work on the stadium is on, as far as I know. But the question is, when will that stadium be ready? So that's still not the case. So let's see. Is the new national league coach meant for leftover qualifier matches or beyond? Notion at the moment, I think only for the qualifiers till March next year. We need different department to manage women team in. And Deepak, we will only have one national team department and no different for women's at the moment. What if FSDL sign a shorter 7-8 year deal and then run I-League 2? What's if they don't want to run the I-League? And if they're going to run a deal that's going to be 10 to 15 years, why do you want a short-term deal? I don't think the new coach who's going to be appointed as national team head coach, including Khalid, are going to stay for more a year unless the thing's going to stay as it is. Newton Chacha, let's wait and see. How's the handball project going? Selvin, working on things. Hopefully something, again, I said that in May, but you know how India is, so therefore hopefully we can announce something in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Do you think women's football in India should be governed in its own federation? I just came hearing a podcast about Kyrgyz football. No, Roshan. What's the value? See, if you like it or not, women's football around the world is mainly cross-subsidized by the men's game. It's a fact, right? Whatever people say, even the UEFA Euros, which are very, very successful, you're showing all the numbers, but UEFA has clearly said, listen, we're going to lose at least 15 million euros on that. So therefore, what's the use? I don't think so. India's fourth largest economy and 1 billion population, yet only one sport brings revenue. What's the reason? Maybe Kabaddi for some extent, but rest, most and losses, your views, reason for that. Kabaddi is also not making profits. So anyone who's talking about that, wrong. The problem is very simple. That television money is mainly in cricket, and no other sports is able to get even a rupee out of sports, right? I mean, think about that. The I-League spend money, the I-League clubs, to be put on a broadcast channel. If I-League clubs like Churchill Brothers didn't want to be an ISL club, why they want to now? Because they think they want to be in the big boys club, right? But I don't even know how they would have been able to qualify with the criterias. Off topic. Did you see the women's final? This Sinaga is good. We got a new flagship rivalry tennis. No, I didn't watch the final because I wasn't at home that day. The whole system needs to be changed, that you are saying in the evening also on Twitter. Yeah, Redawala, that's the problem. You know, you know. So, yeah. But who's going to change the system? Who's going to be the change? Who's going to bring the change? No, that's the question that we need to think about ourselves, look at where we are, and yeah, very, very challenging at the moment. I used to read Oranawa blogs in 2014 as there was no other way to get info. There was Facebook group, Indian Football Live too. Yeah, I remember that. IFL. Now info is too easy to get these days. It was crazy. It is easy, but on the other side, is it all correct? The infos that you're getting. Now, that's my concern. People might not like me for that. That's the reality of things. If I or you like it, can they move to Lucknow or Noida, Ghaziabad for a few years? No, Utsav, they can't. They tried Lucknow, right? Initially in the I League, they played one match. The ground was so bad that they then had to shift to CAS. And Noida, Ghaziabad doesn't have a venue. How would you analyze U20 women national victory was scoring flattering? I didn't watch the match. I just watched the highlights, so I can't analyze anything. Again, if I'm not there, it's very, very difficult to say. I was somewhere else. I just saw the result and then watched the highlights. It's good. I take it. But it is nothing because the qualifiers are this what it sounds now. Sir, what is the scene of US women team? They seem to do well. Is it also interlinked with US men? Yeah. The women's team is much more successful than the men's team. But at the end of the day, men's football is generating money. Stephen Constant Habas should be elected as a national team coach and Sanderson as assistant coach. The question is if Sanderson is applying. If you're Sanderson and you're applying for the head coach role, and you put a foreigner in there and say, "Are do the assistant coach," I don't know if he would do it. Trader but who will pay his salary? That's the question. Manolo was forced to do dual role because the FF couldn't afford him and FC Goa paid his salary. Why? You don't understand, says Newton Chacha. Yeah, at the end of the day, that's the question. Who's going to put up the money that is needed to get the right person into the job, right? That's the starting and the ending question of this. I do believe, without knowing who all have applied, that Stephen and Habas are most probably the best options, because Stephen knows the system, Habas knows the system, and they're no-nonsense coaches. And I think that's what, if the team likes it or not, this is what Indian football needs at the moment. So therefore, for me, yeah, that's the challenge. That is the challenge. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens. How is Daniel doing, who's also based in Germany? I remember I used to have a football page dedicated to football. What a shame things haven't changed since when I started following Indian football. Seven, Chris Punaka to Daniel as his full name. Chris is doing well, still based where he was based, involved with the women's team. And we used to run IndianFootball.com together, and the realities are the realities. Huh? How much truth does it hold that Supreme Court is waiting for the sports bill to pass in Parliament? Maybe Supreme Court judge could get delayed for a few months. Do you have an inside source? Utsav, I don't have an inside source. And all of this is speculation. I think nobody knows why, right? Because people were telling us, no. That's why I always said, let's wait and see when they are going to fix the date. Is it going to be 15th of July? A lot of people said, 18th, today, supposedly. Someone has said today here on the live, 23rd. Someone told me it might happen only in August. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if it's linked to the sports bill. The sports bill has its own little issues to sort out, but we'll have to wait and see. And in regard to the ISL, it is putting pressure because at some stage there needs to be a decision in regard to, is the season going to happen? That's the first question. Is there going to be some way of moving forward? Or does the season get cancelled? Which, again, we are now 18th of July. Let's see, where we are in 2 weeks, which is going to be the 1st of August. Because at the moment, I'm saying 60% not happening, 40% happening, if you ask me. That's what I said this whole week whenever I was asked. So my hope is still there, but the likelihood is more no than yes. And that is my biggest concern, biggest fear in this. Any big name from the governing body who's afraid of losing their name, not money? Trader Wala, they're to brush all of them over with the same brush is wrong. You know, there are some people in the Exco who've done some work, some good work. There are others who shouldn't be there for different reasons. So, as anywhere in that system, right? So therefore, that's a problem, right? I mean, let me take a name out, like a Tete Amar, right? Minister now in Mizoram, former long-time General Secretary of the Mizoram Football Association, someone who's done the groundwork, the hard work, the grind. I will not question someone like Tete. I know that is good, but he himself, one person in that system is not going to be able to change the system. The system in itself is a problem. So therefore, we need the right people, right? So therefore, that's the challenge, and the challenge hasn't changed. Uchut says to Utsav, US women's a multiple-time World Cup winner and generally stay in the top 5 FIFA rankings. Very high standards. Very high standards. But again, the finance is always a question, no point. Hi, Rusha, welcome back. One last question before you go. What do you think of this season? If ISL doesn't happen, can you create a new league from next season? What happens to AFC slots? Utsav, who's going to create the league? Who's going to pay for it? People are forgetting that on one side, Reliance is paying AIFF 50 crores. On the other side, they're spending, close to mostly 100 crores to organize the league. Right? Just look at the way the AIFF has organized the I-League last season, or generally their leagues, and look at how Reliance has been organizing the league for the last 11 years. You cannot fault Reliance for the organization of the league, right? And who is going to run the new league? How are they going to finance it, and who's going to play in it? Because if the ISL tomorrow disappears, let's say there is no league, national level league in 2025, 2026. How many of these clubs will be there? Why are the players suddenly so scared that, oops, there might be no league? So therefore, that's the reality. Like one of my neighborhood friend was saying that kids in Europe is lucky that they can go on to play Premier League, but it's like about 1.5 million kids playing according to English. If India had a proper system, it would be around 200 million kids playing grassroots football. Only a few make it to the top. It's very difficult to think. When they had a real chance, only the top ones will make it big. I don't know, but also I was talking to someone earlier today and asked the question, simple question. How with a 1.5, 1.4, 1.5 billion population, whatever the number is, don't we see any exceptional sporting talent, world-class talent coming through, right? Anita Chopra being an exception, let's say, right? So that's the problem. That's the problem to me, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done, which is not happening. By the way, sir, everyone in football Twitter is asking same question. Where is my scooter? Yeah. I guess he's in Sweden. Huh? Any coach updates? Rushabh, nothing except that, of course, names are being played around. Khalid Jamil, Sandra Sen are in the mix. Stephen Constantine supposedly has applied. Habas has applied, according to what I know. A few foreign coaches have applied as well. Some of them have been now even reaching out to people and figuring out who could help and support them in their agenda. And yeah, very, very difficult on that, right? So yeah, let's see what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's going to be very interesting what Indian football, how Indian football moves forward at this moment in time, and the coach's role. Yeah, let's see. Can FIFA step in, help bring investors in, or inject parachute funds? Has it ever happened in a country that there was no league for a year? No. It's not the role of FIFA. Utsav, why would FIFA, do that? It's the role of the National Federation, right? So let's see. So they've not done it. They will not do it. It's the role of the country, or it's the role of potential investors to do it. So it's on them. Can foreigners go to CAS or FIFA to get full salary settlement? Severance package, I mean, yeah, 100%. 100% they can go. And they do that, no? Mohammedan Sporting transfer ban at the moment. Salary is not paid. Huge respect to Fasim Constantine for applying, says Dark Knight. Reliance Foundation, young champs trying to tap into through lately. It's a big project. Let's hope, let's see what they can do. Why AIFF suddenly increased their expenditure for no reason, actually did less work from the previous 10 is absolutely pathetic. Blue, that is the question to be asked. A very, very good question, So let's see. Let's see what happens. So, any news about Bandotkar Memorial Trophy 2025 edition? I heard that they are working on it. Also, the CM promised brackets last year to continue enrollment every year. I've not heard anything. Look at the way they organized it last year. I remember Defensa coming in from Argentina last moment, last second, Brisbane Roar in there. You had quality in there, but you don't do it that way. I mean, this is all typical Indian football organization, sadly to say. Now, we're in the year 2025 and we're organizing things as if, I don't know, we're in 1970s. One video or tweet by Chetri can even bring in attention of the PM, but all they care is their own short-term gains. Seems like we fans are just wasting our time, whereas people with reach keep quiet. Sunil is also an employee of his club. So I don't know if that's, let's see. Why influential ISL team owners are not coming forward? If all the financially strong team owners sits together, at least some good things can happen. Bishwajit, why would they sit together? All of them have been brought in by Reliance. They are there because of Reliance. Mr. Goenka is not there because of football. The Tatas are not there because of football. Right? They were convinced by Reliance to come and invest. If Reliance goes, they're gone. This is also a pipe dream people have that, oh no, they will stay. They will not stay. Why would they stay? The staff and players' salary will be in crores. It's going to bankrupt the club and federation. It's 100%. The system cannot survive. If the ISL tomorrow is gone, the system cannot survive. This is something. If we like it or not, we don't have a plan B. What is the plan B? Who's going to come forward? Reliance is not just spending 50 crores on the AIFF. They're putting in money into the pockets of a lot of people, right? Who work for them, run the league, organize the league. People thinking there will be a parallel league, it won't work. Who's going to fund it? FS is the only one who can run it. Period. 100%. Yeah. So that is something which is Renal for me is a given. And anyone talking about, I League can take over, or I League and some ISL clubs together merge into a new league. Not going to work. Not going to work. How much money is needed to start an academy and become national champions age group? You can't generalize, So, can't do that way. No? That's not the way it runs. The Goa Football Association allotted only 2 crores budget. They asked the government to increase the budget to 5 crores for smooth operations. I can't complain about organization quality of it. No, Newton Chacha, that is also mistaken your thought process. The Goa Football Association's job is, if they say they want to run on 5 crores, and the government says, I'm giving you 2, right? I'm giving 2. They need to work to raise 3 crores in the market. That's their job, right? Get a marketing partner, whatever. If FIFA was a cricket board, they would organize the World Cup every 2 years in India. Why would FIFA fund AIFF to run the league? Very, very, very valid, Roshan. Like you said, is our coaching so poor that our coaches mainly prefer size and power rather than long-term development? Hasn't been the same in 90s. It's been always there, and not 90s, 50s, 60s, 40s, 30s. It's been always a problem. Dada, any knowledge on Meghalaya? Are they seriously investing so much? If a small state can invest this much money, why AIFF can't? Vishwajit, AIFF doesn't have money. Why are you dragging a state topic into the federation topic? The AIFF doesn't own infrastructure per se, right? The clubs don't, have infrastructure. The infrastructure is mainly of the countries, of the state, of the cities, of the councils, of the municipalities. Yes, Mizoram has shown it. Manipur has done some stuff. Now Meghalaya is doing it. Yeah, the Northeast. The states are more committed. Simple. Hi, welcome. I'm good, you man, bro. Chetri came in front with the tweet, which is really good, giving the perspective of their side to us fans, but still people abused him for no reason. Weird as shit is mass Indian emotions, no logic. Blue, knowing Sunil a little bit, that was an honest social media post, right? And yes, it affects him. It affects the other players. So therefore, that is surely a reason why Sunil has put this out. But on the other side, the question remains, why, again, that's what the fans are saying, why he doesn't speak up on other things? Why doesn't he speak up generally on the ISL? Again, do you think that Sunil knows everything that is going on in the ISL? That he can make a stand and take a stand? Whenever he can take a stand, he's done that, right? Yes, on the national team, he could have said sorry, Tori here and everything, but he's not the captain at the moment. Sandesh is. Sandesh did. So therefore, I don't know. Blue, for me, yeah. Does the sports bill will help the Indian football? Tradawala, I don't think so. The sports bill has a few points which I would never put into a sports bill, which are not in the interest of the national sports associations or sports federations, as they call it in India. Sir, is there any clause in contract that clubs can refuse to pay salary or terminate the contract without severance? Yeah, of course. Force majeure. And that's what I think has been told to the BFC players, and why the BFC players have all come out with their statements. Yeah. Do you think if a person really has talent, he will come to drop off the top of the footy in India? People, rather than trying for trials and try the criticism, thinks they're too good. Daniel, I think if there is someone who's exceptional and who's in the system, yes, he will come through 100%. State governments are battling against them on who is going to build in the largest cricket stadium. You're not having more than enough. How can we expect the development of state football? Newton, some states are doing it. No? That's the point. It's not going to be everywhere, but in some states it's happening. Like, if you can't make it now, do these people really think that out of 200 million, they're going to make it delusional? Any chance of FSDL extending contract with current terms, or maybe reducing AIFF funds from 50 to 30 crore? Hypothetically speaking, AIFF having stakes in us, even assure minimal funds, right? Rushabh, the AIFF, the AIFF's problem is that the second Reliance came around and said, you know what, we want a different structure, which I think is the right structure. And Reliance said, we're going to pay you 0 rupees. 0. 50 crores to 0. They should have made a counter proposal and should have covered themselves and said, yeah, but the counter proposal is, oh, you know what, give us 50 crores and increase it by 5% every year. That's not a counter proposal, right? Let's say keep the status quo and just make the status quo better. So therefore, that's the Reliance is not going to reduce the money. I think Reliance wants to give 0. And there are different models maybe that could have been adopted. So therefore, the AIFF utterly clueless in this situation. Saturday bubble has been busted. Yes, it's 100%. Massively busted. What country model should India follow? Is there any other country with same problems like us and doing good? Maybe we can copy them. No, there is no country which has our problems and is doing good, because we are very unique with our problems. right? Indian football's problems are uncomparable. Let me use that word with other countries, because we are in a situation which I wouldn't know a country which has our problems anywhere in the world. I don't know if someone knows, mention it. But to me, I don't see a country having our issues, our problems, and it is rather getting more than less. And that's my big concern. The problems have gotten more in the last few weeks and months. Right, 1 hour, 35 plus minutes, which means more than 95 minutes on this live on a Friday evening. If you haven't, do like the video. 27 likes so far. Thank you very much. Share it with others, and if you haven't and you're listening, you're liking it, subscribe to the channel with 2,778 at this moment. Thank you very much. And those of you who are new, listening, ask your questions and I'll try and answer them, and spread the word, and do support. And thanks as always. We go on and on about exceptional talent. Let that kid just come up. Is he rightly nurtured? Our players are late bloomers, right? They burst into scenes quite late. Rushabh, yes, but again, if I again go on, there are two things. At 8, 9, 10, 11, because of the physical and height aspect, we would have, for example, pushed a Lionel Messi away. But at 13, 14, if you are good, you're going to get chances and you will be somehow pushed through the system. I believe that, despite all the problems, right? That's how, for example, Africa works. The good players filter through the system up. So therefore, that's something. But yeah, the late bloomer thing is also a problem. Why? Because the system is not strong enough. If AIFF agree with profit sharing model, what will be the outcome? AIFF could raise hand and say we are stopping I-League 2, IWL, etc. Yeah. The AIFF's problem is at the moment, the AIFF, what are the AIFF's options? At the moment, you're getting 50 crores and you're getting the ISL organized. Tomorrow, you say no to Reliance, you don't have an ISL, and you don't have the money. So what is your counter proposal to Reliance? So what about the Supreme Court judgment today? Nazari blogger, there was no judgment supposed to come out today. That's been put out by people, but the Supreme Court calendar never said there would be any judgment. I think Imami is unaware of current situation. They're putting so much money in team building, already started preseason with full squad, but after World Cup, there is nothing. Biswajit, yes, it looks like it, but if the others pull out, Imami will also go. No, be rest assured. What happened to the Supreme Court judgment about the AIFF Constitution not able to find it? Because there is no Krishna. There is no decision. Decision is still pending. Decision has not been made by the Supreme Court. I think India does not have a full-time scout who finds good players in young age. Here, coaches act like scouts. We need full-time scouts. There are scouts, so to say there aren't none is wrong. But the coaching is also a question. Huh? So there is a possibility that both the league could shut down. Yeah. If the ISL doesn't happen, do you think that the I-League will happen? I mean, just putting it out there. I don't think so. I personally don't believe that will happen. Right? That's a realistic danger, which I warned 2 years ago that this situation could arise, and we are in that situation, and things have gotten much worse in these 2 years. So therefore, my hope and my wish is that things change, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I think an average kid who starts playing football is we need more kids to start playing in the 7th, 8th again. There is no proper system either if you get into those connections of money. Rushabh, as I told you, don't compare what happens, let's say, in a place like Mumbai with other parts. In the Northeast, kids are getting in at the right age. They're filtering through the players. But that exceptional talent is missing at the moment. Why? Because the competitions are lacking. Quality of coaching is not that good. But it happens elsewhere. So big cities, I don't think big city talent is going to be the key. The talent will be most probably from smaller states or from rural areas. So that's something we need to keep in mind. Right, 1 hour and 40-minute plus on this live. I'll take this as the last question from Bishwajit. what's the way forward according to that? Vishwajit, we will have to see what the Supreme Court says. That's my one fear, because there's a chance of a FIFA ban because Supreme Court overstepping its remit. The AIFF needs to find a solution with Reliance, which works. And the important thing is that the ISL, in my opinion, needs to continue. But Reliance and AIFF needs to find a solution of how to help and fund the AIFF. And then, yeah, elections, FIFA ban, I'm not sure what. To me, if you ask me today, unlike in 2022, when I myself took it on me, flew down to India twice, tried to intervene, that today in this situation, I would say maybe a FIFA ban is better. That we actually get a normalization committee who intervenes, maybe that's better. I don't know at the moment. That's my thought. And I've come a long way to be saying that it's better to get a FIFA ban than actually try and sort it out within the AIFF, because I don't think the AIFF can sort it out within itself, with the government and with the courts involved in the way they are. I think we need to clear up, and I think that clear up can only come from outside. And with that, I'd like to end this live. Once more, the reminder, if you like this conversation, even if you're watching it afterwards, share it with others. I think today is another big day in Indian football with this. We've had the 5th of July where India qualified for the AFC Women's Asian Cup, 11th of July where the ISL was put on hold, and 18th of July where Inter Kashi won its second case against the AIFF. Keep supporting Indian football. That's a big thing that I once again would like to say. And like, share, subscribe. Let's keep on growing the community. I need your support. Watch the short videos, and I won't be doing a live tomorrow, but I'll surely be doing a live day after. So do come back to arunfoot. Thanks a lot. Good night.